Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
Matt's coming. No. When do we start?
Welcome back. Here we are.
You know,
Intro yammery things.
we're almost to 100 episodes, and you have not come up with a clear, solid...
We have an intro. We have a little jingle jangle that brings us in.
I understand that aspect of the show, but you also...
I was going to ask you a question that I thought you'd be happy about.
Oh, okay, please.
And then you just want to start berating me.
I'm not berating you. I'm giving a valid point here that we are almost 100 episodes in, and we don't have any consistency in how we welcome people into the show. That's all.
We're going to talk comics and movies and TV and all that kind of crap. Welcome aboard.
Okay, now what's your question?
You sons of bitches.
All right, enough about you. Let's talk about me, because apparently you have a question.
I was going to ask how you felt about this past weekend with sports.
Oh, I'm very excited for the New England Patriots.
You know what's fun for me?
Watching people drive up the Rocky steps in dune buggies.
Did that happen?
Philadelphia was a mess Sunday night.
So, like, when I was living in Jersey, like, I could easily cheer for the Eagles at the time because I was friends with a bunch of people that were from Pennsylvania, and, like, we'd get together and watch games. Like, I could cheer for teams from Jersey, teams from Philly, teams from Boston. It was all fine. I didn't really care that much. It got into those scenarios, like, anyone could win and I'm happy. At least from, like, those kind of specific areas.
Yeah.
We're going to the Super Bowl, I'm like, either way, I'm content. I'm guessing that's less true with you.
I'm spoiled. I am a spoiled sports fan. This will be the 10th appearance by a Boston sports team in a championship game, so I'm not really...
Compared to Philadelphia, which hasn't been in the Super Bowl since 2005?
2002, and they lost to the Patriots.
Oh, boy.
And the last time they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl, it was the Patriots' second Super Bowl in a row and attempt for 3 out of 4, so... Yeah, the people of Philadelphia went absolutely bananas. Have you not seen any of these?
I've seen some of the videos.
Like the man with no shirt and the horse mask on?
I did see that one. I think one of my favorite ones.
It pans to after this guy's sitting on top of a car riding through the street, and you just kind of pan to it, then you see this guy in the horse mask.
I think my favorite one that I saw, and I think it was shown on Kimmel, was... Like, obviously, you know, Philly, there's a bunch of public transit, and they show people on the train.
Oh, the guy who runs into the post?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. That was probably my favorite. It was almost like people on the train couldn't see it, and he also couldn't see it, and I loved it. I got a good big kick out of that.
Hold on.
But yeah, your team is going to the Super Bowl yet again.
They are. I'm finding this video for you of somebody driving it, because we talked about Rocky last week, but this guy, yeah, here we go.
Wow. He is just climbing the stairs, I guess, Rocky style. I also saw the Rocky statue got decorated.
Did it really?
Yeah, in a bunch of Eagles gear.
Oh, okay, cool. So, yeah, I'm wondering if that was like a deleted scene from Creed where they have all the dune buggies and four-wheelers driving around. That was incredible. The guy was driving up the stairs in a dune buggy. I thought you said you couldn't park in front of the Museum of Art like that.
You can't do that. That's not legal. It's not fine. It's not safe.
I'm sure that driving a dune buggy up those stairs, also none of those things.
Yeah, also. Sign out for the top of the stairs. If you go there, and they've been there for a decade plus.
The shoes,
now,
right? Or the footprints?
Yeah, there's footprints of Rocky. Stallone had no idea those were there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're not as authentic as you might think they are.
Because I've been to the top of the stairs before. I've been there once.
I've been there, just because I was in the area. I went there multiple times. Sometimes just to be like, oh, I was at the art museum. Sometimes I was to see certain exhibits.
So you have been inside the art museum?
Oh, yeah. Numerous times.
You arted yourself up?
Boy, I miss being in the tri-state area. It was so nice. I lived an hour away from Philly and an hour away from New York.
Oh, that's perfect, really.
It really was. It was awesome. I miss it. Obviously I like living here, but I do miss being in that area, kind of doing it. Whatever.
Why, so you could be
to the
like,
show.
Running into poles in the mass transit system and running around with no shirt on, setting fires in the streets.
I never did that.
My favorite quote was somebody was being interviewed and it said, what happens if they win the Super Bowl? And they said, you better bring in the military.
I did a New York City pub crawl on St. Patrick's Day. That got a little weird. Noses were broken.
Pretty sure a lot of what happened. People get out of control over, maybe it's because I'm spoiled again, But, like, you don't see riots like that in Boston. They weren't rioting and partying in Boston when they won the AFC Championship the other night. Philadelphia, a full-on riot broke out across the city.
I can tell you, I was in Boston right before they went to the World Series when they were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I have never seen the streets of Boston that barren, and you were very aware anytime something good happened.
Yes.
Well, that was, 2004?
When they won it all for the first time was 2004. And
yeah,
the town went crazy.
I was in Boston when they were in the playoffs, like, during one of the games, and it was just dead. Nothing was happening. Like, in, the history of Boston, has anyone ever been like, what an open city?
No.
That was the first time ever.
I was in college. I was in a dorm room, and then we went outside after they won, and people had a mini riot in the courtyard. They tried to burn down a gazebo.
It's a weird thing to do.
Well, college kids and booze. Not exactly the brightest things that they could do.
Or I was at Rutgers when they were having like that clean out football season, and I was talking to you on the phone. You're like, why aren't you at the football game? I'm like, because there's going to be a Spider-Man trailer that drops. Long time ago. Anyway, let's get into the news. I guess that's enough sports talk.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
More sports talk.
All right out of the gate.
This is a rumor. You know what's had no real marketing?
The Han Solo movie?
Exactly what I was going to... Did you look?
No.
Okay, yes, exactly that. Han Solo has had no marketing. Rumor has it that the trailer is going to drop during the Super Bowl.
That makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that movie's only 4 months out now.
Captive audience.
Like, the biggest audience. Like, why not hit the most people? Usually when, at least with what Marvel's done, their movie franchises, like, you'll do like a 60-second spot in the Super Bowl and they'll be like, go to StarWars.com to see, like, the full trailer. And then you'll get like an extra 30, 45 seconds. But that's the rumor that Han Solo will be dropping during the Super Bowl.
Landing right in the middle of Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the Millennium Falcon.
That's where the Kessel Run is, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Kessel Run is trying to get through Philadelphia on the Sunday night they won the NFC Championship.
They tried to park in front of the art museum and couldn't. Got a ticket.
Philadelphia, you'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
I mean, Broad Street, longest straight stretch in the country. If you're looking for a place to do drunk driving, go to Philly because they have the longest, straightest street.
Oh,
Also, don't do that, I guess.
Did you read that they put Crisco on the light poles?
I saw that.
And people were helping people up over the Crisco?
They call them like Crisco cops or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, did you know that Broad Street, longest, straightest street in the United States?
Yeah, they call the Flyers the Broad Street Bullies.
What does that have to do with the street being straight?
I don't know. That's just what they call them.
Like, if you want to get some Chinese food on Broad Street, be prepared to like do it through a slot because there's a bunch of bulletproof glass. Broad Street is not a fun place, and a bunch of front businesses. You don't need that many nail salons.
Okay, so welcome to this section of the city of brotherly love.
Welcome to the Tri-State Report, brought to you by me, guy who hasn't lived there in 10 years.
Oh wow, not much has changed apparently.
No. But yeah, Han Solo apparently during the Super Bowl. Rumor has it, not confirmed. We'll see. Not a lot of movie news this week, but something that did happen today.
Yes.
Oscar nominations came out, so we're going to cover the ones.
Oh, I didn't read them. I had a chance to, and I didn't realize they were out today.
Yeah, it happened this morning. Movie you haven't seen yet, but I highly recommend 1 billion times over. That I think gets a bunch of snubs despite being 4 nominations in. Blade Runner 2049.
Really?
4 nominations, all technical ones. Cinematography, production design, sound mixing, and sound editing. Basically Oscars that no one cares about. That movie is, I watched it again the other night. Brilliant. Just brilliant. It deserves more than it got. Star Wars. Also up for 4 categories. Original score. I doubt they'll win because a lot of it's just rehashed John Williams stuff.
Yeah.
Sound mixing, sound editing, and visual effects. Visual effects is a possibility.
Yeah, I could see that.
Also, who, gives a shit about sound mixing and sound editing? Those are the kind of categories where I'm like, I don't notice if it's good, but I notice if it's bad.
Yeah. Those are the ones at a separate ceremony earlier this week. We awarded the following Oscars.
Guardians of the Galaxy is up for visual effects. Looking at the category, I imagine they're going to win that one, but we'll see. The biggie, Logan. Often comic book movies, kind of genre movies, don't get big nods like what we've seen for literally everything I've mentioned. Yep. But Logan got a biggie. They only got 1, but they got a biggie nod.
Best Picture?
Best Adapted Screenplay.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen all the Best Picture ones. Get Out got a good chunk of stuff I'm excited about. But yeah, Logan got Best Adapted Screenplay nod.
That's a big one.
That is a biggie. I hope it wins. What's fun? That's not what I necessarily would have gone with that movie. It was just like, what should the nod be for this, but totally, if you want to do Best Adapted, great, roll with it. That's, thinking back, I can't think of the last big genre movie that had a big nomination. It's been a while.
Lord of the Rings.
That was literally 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And then there are two kind of snubs. I can start with kind of the more jokey snub. The Boss Baby got a Best Animated Feature nom.
Yeah.
But Lego Batman was snubbed. Nothing. That movie's brilliant. And The Boss Baby had one.
Wow. I've seen neither of those movies.
Lego Batman's, I think I said it before, I wish we did an episode on it because it's a genius movie.
Doesn't mean we can't do an episode on it.
Feels a little dated at this point.
We've watched things from the way back before.
Oscar snub movie, Lego Batman.
All right.
It's great. It's a great movie. One of my favorite Batman movies, and Boss Baby is Oscar nominated. That's a weird one. And then the one that the internet was freaking out about, Justice League, had no nods.
Oh.
True, but not the one they were freaking out about. Wonder Woman has nothing.
That's interesting. They probably could have, I don't know, what was it? I mean, some visual effects stuff, sound editing.
Yeah, the boring ones.
An Oscar's an Oscar.
I mean, what's nice about this year, it's been a while, like, you know, hashtag Oscars so white, is there are people of color who have been nominated, like Best Director-wise, Best Picture-wise. We have female directors as well, so it's not just, you know, white dudes this time around.
That's good.
But Wonder Woman got literally nothing. Not even a single... Suicide Squad got a nod.
Good job, Suicide Squad.
No one's ever said that.
Sure. People that are...
They were like, good job, you came out, I guess. But yeah, Wonder Woman got nothing. So... I don't know. Sorry?
What were the best picture? Probably like Shape of Water.
Shape of Water.
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk, I think, did as well. Boy, I'd have to look at the list.
I mean,
I didn't really
fact check.
I just wrote down the genre ones.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, this is big news. There's a lot going on.
Shape of Water has the most nods. Get Out had a bunch.
I haven't seen Shape of Water yet.
Well, that's one I'm waiting for Redbox on, but I think that had like 12 or something crazy.
Oh, so it has a chance. If it wins,
Shape of Water is going to win something.
Yeah, but it has a chance to break the record.
Isn't 12 the...
11.
Is it 11?
It's 11. Ben-Hur, Titanic, and Return of the King.
Yeah, I thought they were... whatever, it doesn't matter.
Let's see. Here you go. Here are your best
So
picture
I literally
movies.
wrote down all the stuff I wanted to talk about. You're like, we need to talk about more!
Oh, The Post. That just came out, and it already has... Wow.
It's still within the season, though.
Yeah. Best actor, Daniel Day-Lewis again.
Yeah. What was that, like Phantom Thread?
Yeah.
I've heard good things about that, but it's
Denzel
supposed to be super
Washington.
weird.
Best actress.
Meryl
Streep's in there. Frances McDormand. Sally Hawkins. Best foreign language film. A Fantastic Woman.
I haven't seen
The
any
Insult.
foreign language movies this year.
Supporting actor, Sam Rockwell. Woody Harrelson. Christopher Plummer. Willem Dafoe. Richard Jenkins.
You're just listing things. I literally...
Mary J. Blige.
I have a lot of list-related topics this week. We don't need to list things off.
Okay, I'm just kind of going through and seeing what else is out there. That's all.
That's all the movie news. There's a lot of comic news this week. Hashtag spoilers, or also I don't care. In June of 2018, Kitty Pryde and Peter Rasputin, or Shadowcat and Colossus, will be getting married in X-Men Gold number 30. Get ready for June 2018. One of my favorite comic book characters getting wedded. There's going to be a lot
on them.
I know you're...
Are you invited?
No.
Oh, okay.
There's going to be a lot of that. So, try and add things because I'm going to throw a lot of names at you. You're always like, oh, sports ball. Well, guess what, bitch? I'm throwing a lot of, like, big league names your direction. You ain't going to know who they are.
I know Kitty Pryde.
There we go.
How'd you not mention Kong Skull Island and War for Planet of the Apes also being Best Visual Effects nominees?
I was trying to keep it concise.
All right, well, I'm just going...
I saw both of those. They're not going to win.
Okay. I'm just saying. You said you were keeping it genre-specific, and you totally missed out on that.
Dan Slott. He has been writing Spider-Man since 2008. He is leaving the title.
I know Spider-Man.
You don't know Dan Slott.
No, I'm guessing this is Miles Morales Spider-Man.
No, this is like the main title, Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. The regular Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man, the main title. Yeah, he's been at that for over 10 years now, and it was announced that he is leaving the book. For a character with like a 70-year history, if you've been doing 10 years of storytelling, that's a good chunk.
It's 1 out of 7. That's
good math.
Yeah. I'm trying to do the percentage.
I mean, I have really enjoyed Slott's run. He did the impossible and literally came in after probably the most divisive Spider-Man story of all time and had to follow it up. Like, people still haven't shut up about it. Quick summary, Aunt May got shot, Spider-Man sold his marriage to the devil. And then him and Mary Jane were never a thing.
Oh, like Faust. It's very Faustian.
But she's like an ancient old lady. And there's also a great arc right before that. It was like a little after Civil War. And he's like, I'm Peter Parker. And then Aunt May got shot. And then he sold his love to the devil. No one liked it.
I can see how that would be... it would elicit some emotion and then some thoughts.
And then poor Dan Slott starts his run with like Peter Parker making out with some rando.
Oh.
Because Marvel was like, Peter Parker isn't relatable anymore as a married man. We need to make him a young, hot single again. And people were pissed. But, he's been at the book for 10 years.
Did it elicit the same kind of reactions as the gentleman who came in and canceled his Star Wars order because of Luke?
I don't feel comfortable telling that story, but I heard some colorful language this week that made me laugh. Oh my goodness.
I'm glad that they have a strong opinion.
Boy, did they. I thought it was hilarious.
I love that I'm probably the first person you told after that person left the store.
First or second, maybe third. You're one of three.
Oh, I feel special and privileged.
But Dan Slott isn't leaving Marvel. He is going to be going over to writing Iron Man, which I'm all about. I like his stuff a lot. He's left an, uncalculable mark on the character. He's really great at what he does, and I look forward to seeing him on a different book. But I'm kind of sad to see him go at the same time. Like, he's been doing it for so long, and so it must be kind of like this kind of comfort zone of like, oh yeah, he's, Slott's going to do something different. Mm. One of the things that was teased is, as I mentioned, his run unfortunately started after Devil Took Our Marriage. Some art has been released hinting that Peter and Mary Jane might be getting back together.
Ooh.
They at least make out.
Ooh.
At a bare minimum.
Rebound, go back to something you're comfortable with.
Yeah, because there's nothing like rebounding with a supermodel.
Well, I mean...
Does that count as a rebound at that point?
Technically, yes.
I say technically no. I say constantly trading up.
Well, maybe, I don't know if it's a rebound if it's with your ex.
Supermodel.
Still your
ex. Her
ex.
job is literally supermodel.
Still your ex.
I guess / Tony Stark's sister right now, but also supermodel.
Wait, Mary Jane is Tony Stark's assistant?
Currently.
Good for her.
Yeah. / club owner.
Where's Pepper?
Not around. One of the big comics, probably the biggest comic book story this week, and we will just hit on everything, throw out some names that you've never heard of.
Okay.
But other people will know well.
Because I read some names I've never heard of in the Green Lantern book, Green Arrow book this week.
We're not there yet.
Oh, but still.
Action Comics 1000 coming out of April of this year. We got the solicit for that in the press release, and the biggie is Superman has his underpants back.
Oh, good for him.
And I love that look comparatively.
I didn't know he lost them, so...
He did in 2011.
So he just had like a full,
it's just
solid blue?
Yeah, kind of like the movie. I'm not like, underwear, but it's nice having a color break in there.
It's not, well, is it underwear? Because it doesn't have a urine hole in it.
Some people say that it's just attached, like it's one thing. Other people say that it's
he pulls them on over the top and...
I mean, the idea was, like, when it came out in the 30s, it was based off kind of like the strongman look.
Yeah.
But then they ditched it in 2011, and it's coming back after an 8-year absence.
Good for him.
7-year bad.
Go back to your roots, Clark.
It looks good because it's just, like I said, it's so nice having a color break in there.
Jor-El getting back in this
instead of just
Kal-El, sorry.
Blue. But aside from that, we're getting a ton of good stuff there. Aside from just having our main story, there's going to be a bunch of stuff. As previously mentioned, Brian Michael Bendis will be making his DC debut with a 10-page backup done by one of the co-publishers of DC and possibly biggest artist in the world, Jim Lee. Reading those 10 pages. There is going to be unpublished, never seen before Kurt Swan artwork. If you don't know the name, he has literally defined the look of Superman. He drew the character for like 40 years.
Did he draw the Superman with the mullet?
No, I think he was gone by that point.
Okay.
But Kurt Swan is the defining Superman artist. Then they're going to do some unreleased artwork of his, which is exciting. Richard Donner, director of Superman the movie, and Jeff Johns, one of the 3 co-publishers of DC, will be co-writing a story. They did stuff in like the late 2000s, which was pretty great, with art by Oliver Coipel. Hope I pronounced that right. We're also going to see stories by Batman the Animated Series writer / Harley Quinn co-creator Paul Dini with Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Tom King will be doing a story with Clay Mann and Jordi Belair. Louise Simonson is coming back. That's awesome. We'll be doing a story with Jerry Ordway. Also amazing. He's coming back. And Scott Snyder will be doing a story with Tim Sale. These are all amazing things.
Okay. I believe you.
You're like, I don't know any of those names.
You could have named, it's like, those could be people that work down at the car lot for all I know.
I was really curious what they're going to do for this book, and they have just pulled out all of the possible stops. There's also going to be a hardcover, 80 Years of Superman book released for this. It's going to have a bunch of interviews and some things with, like, the Siegel family. I didn't write it down, but there's going to be a really cool hardcover coming out as well that isn't that pricey. But, boy, buy Action Comics 1000. It's going to be incredible.
When is that coming out?
April.
Oh, so you got some time. Save up.
It's going to... I don't know how much the individual issue is. I know what the hardcover they have is... I think that was like 30. It might be 40, but I want to say 30. But
can I order this through you?
100%.
Okay, just checking.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in this book. Aside from that was just the bonuses that I mentioned, not even the main story. This book is going to be balls to the wall. Get this book. There'll
be a lot to it.
This is a celebration. And damn well it should be. I'm excited about it.
We love celebrations.
It's going to be really awesome. I'm thrilled at how much they're pulling out for this book. Can't wait to read it. All right, moving on. Another name you don't know. Excuse me while I just roll off a bunch of names you don't know.
The show's not all about me.
This whole news section is just me rolling off names.
I like how you've bracketed it off from everything else.
I had to bracket the Action Comics 1000 because that was so much in one section.
It's like things Jared will know, things Jared definitely won't know.
Kelly Thompson, writer of the soon-to-be-canceled Hawkeye series and current writer of Rogue and Gambit, sorry, I opened with a negative, has signed an exclusive contract at Marvel. Good. Relatively, she's a fan favorite writer, and quite frankly, in the current climate we're in, if you can get talented female writers or artists on a thing, you should probably do that.
Probably not a bad idea.
So get her on board. Sign that deal. It's always nice because, I'm slightly against the idea of exclusive contracts, mostly because I want to see, people kind of spread their wings as far as they can. But at the same time, I can understand the career comfort of being like, oh, I've signed a deal with the company. I get money.
It's a big deal. It's important.
Yeah. Speaking of people on things.
Yes.
The current Cyborg series looked to be canceled, mostly because no one's buying it. Sorry, Cyborg. But Cyborg co-creator Marv Wolfman will be returning to write the character. That's a big deal. We're going back, baby. Back to the big names. Going back to the past.
I don't know who the big names are.
Marv Wolfman's a big name.
Okay, I trust you.
Speaking of big names, you ever watch The Prisoner? The 1970s TV show The Prisoner?
Nope, I can't say as I have.
Oh, me either. I only know it through parody. I've never watched it. Never going to. But I might read about it.
Okay, tell me more.
Because there was an unpublished Jack Kirby and Gil Kane Prisoner story that never saw the light of day that is finally being published. And if you throw anything new Kirby my direction, damn it, I'm gonna read it.
You're all in.
I don't know anything about anything, but I guess if you're showing me an adaptation of a show I've never seen, then it's still basically gonna be from, ground level up.
So you can feel like you can enter in and accept the world.
I'm aware that there's a bubble and they're called by numbers and there's an island. It's
and you want it.
I just want it because it's Kirby. And Gil Kane's nice too. Wolverine's dead. He's alive. He's back again, I guess. Sort of, kind of.
I feel like we talked about this last week or the week before.
Yeah, but there's
you said he came back.
He is back. Kind of. Not fully yet. But there's going to be a one-shot explaining how he's back. Written by the man who killed him himself, Charles Soule.
So wait, when did he die?
2014.
Okay.
There was a 4-part series called The Death of Wolverine.
Oh, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, pretty obvious.
Like the death of Superman. Everyone kind of knows what's happening.
Yeah, kind of, took all of the wind out of the sails. It was well advertised. And yeah.
And then you say it was well advertised and poorly executed?
Not poorly executed, but when you have a 4-part series called The Death of Wolverine and he dies in part 4, you're like, well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, he had to die.
Yeah, no one's shocked here. But there is going to be a one-shot called The Hunt for Wolverine that explains how he's back, why he's back, money. But, beyond that.
Would somebody owe Wolverine some money and he's in the afterlife and he's like,
he just
I need to get my money.
He's not Rihanna. He's like, bitch, you got my money or whatever that is.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, Wolverine just makes money. So he's back and, yeah, coming soon. Hunt for Wolverine one-shot. Pick it up, find out what's happening. Charles Soule is a really good writer. I like what he does, so...
Maybe it's a zombie Wolverine. We've had that.
Yes, we did read that in Marvel Zombies. And then, you want controversy?
Not really, but I suppose we're going to have some.
Generally speaking, and this is unfortunately kind of a regular occurrence that I don't bring up a lot on the show, there is a negative side of comics on Twitter.
Yes, you've talked about this.
I try to avoid it for the most part.
Yeah, and well, as well you should. Try to stay a generally positive person.
There was a relatively controversial tweet that has blown up this week that we should at least comment on.
Okay.
Coming from artist John Mullen. Hopefully I'm pronouncing the last name right. I don't really care.
Well, hopefully, because if he's stirring the pot, you should at least get his name right. Give credit where credit is due.
Most recently, he was drawing a Thunderbolt series that has since ended, and he is the current artist on Cable, although his run on that is going to be ending in February. A fan, and I'm going to condense this because, boy, there's a lot in there.
Okay.
A fan talking to him suggested that the X-Men could be interpreted as literal social justice warriors. A point that I have myself made in past shows, talking about, like, you know, Superman, Batman were literally social justice warriors fighting against, like, slumlords and, you know, gangbangers and kind of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to, at least in my eyes, hard to debate that that's not kind of the origin of them. Also a stupid term that should be dropped from culture in general.
What, gangbangers?
No, social justice warrior.
Oh, okay.
Throw in cuck and snowflake. Let's just toss that.
And poop knife.
Not commonly used, but also throw that one out, yes.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't use it for anything else if you have used it for its intended purpose.
Just throw them all out. Poop knife included. But when this was suggested to John Mullen, he said, and I have quoted this exactly so I don't misspeak.
Okay.
X-Men are closer to Jews in SJW Hitler's Germany, fighting for freedom because they see ideologies rising, silencing them, weaponizing hate, racism, and social activism against the people they claim are the root of social ills. SJWs are not Nazis, but Nazis are SJWs, and the X-Men is now suddenly fully capitalized, aren't SJWs.
There's a lot to unpack there.
There is a lot to unpack there. Amazingly enough, the majority of people had
strong reaction
issue with that. And I will start with the counterpoint. If you wanted to tell a story comparing X-Men to the Holocaust, do that. That's also certainly been done with, like, Magneto literally being a Holocaust survivor. That's never been shied away from. But saying that Nazis are SJW, yeah, it all gets weird. And he was hit pretty hard.
I can see that.
This goes, because we don't talk about politics on this show a lot, and I generally try to avoid it.
It's probably a good idea.
For the most part, on the political spectrum, people on any extreme suck and I hate you. I don't care. If you're on an extreme end, you're probably the worst.
Yeah, what's wrong with trying to live in the middle?
Go further towards that direction.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it to be dead middle and not, like, take a stand
on
anything,
I'm not saying that, but if you're at the far, far ends, and definitely within the world of at least comic creators, I really can't speak to readers specifically because, you know, I don't think people take a census on that. There's certainly more liberal artists and writers than there are conservatives, and some of the conservatives, and also, you know, a lot of the liberals too, because, boy, I had to unfollow some people on Twitter for being just too much on the liberal side.
Okay.
But there are fewer conservative creators, and generally when they speak up, they get hit pretty hard. And this guy was like, he did an interview with another outspoken artist, Ethan Van Schreiber, who I disagree with fundamentally on basically everything, but at least he's a good artist. John Mullen, I don't really like his art, so, you know, don't like what you're about and don't like your art. Two bad hits.
Yeah.
But he said in the interview, like, you know, Trump supporters are going to start getting pushed out of comics because of, you know, this vocal group yelling at them and yelling at their editors.
That's unfortunate.
It's possible.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Read the room. Do that.
That's probably a good idea. Like, know your audience and know, like, I'm all for you having the political ideology that you want. You know, that's part of what being
maybe
in our
don't
country
call
is.
your audience mostly Nazis.
Yeah, so, like, let me finish my sentence here. Let me finish my thought. I'm all for you being able to have your own political ideology, as long as you're, you know, as long as you're not being closed-minded, as long as you're not being bigoted or racist or just way completely off base. I'm not going to begrudge you the feelings that you have, but I certainly feel and hope that we've reached the stage as a people, as a country, as a species, that we can start to get by some of the petty things and some of the things that should be non-factors and non-starters, but we continually allow them to be non-starters. So it's also kind of on us to be like, okay, yeah, I see what you're trying to do here, but I'm not going to fall into your trap.
Yeah, he's an artist who's like his work on Cable is wrapping up in February. He has no other Marvel announced projects. I kind of doubt he's going to get any other work. Partially because he's not very good. Better than me, but on a professional scale, not very good.
They're trying to make a simile between two things that really you can't make a simile between.
Yeah, there were some people trying to. I hate coming to this guy's defense, but there were a few people who were trying to like dig into his work and saying like he's like projecting alt-right messages inside of his art, and I don't think that's the case. Just, deal with the surface stuff. The surface stuff is damning enough. Deal with that.
Yes.
You don't need to try and create other things. The bad stuff's already there. Sorry, we're ending with that.
Yeah, that was really kind of a downer, man. I liked it better when I did the news. I ended on a positive note.
Anywho, I guess, yeah, that's the news. Let's talk about something more positive. In our first chamber segment...
Chamber segment?
I don't know. I was trying out different words. We got a themed month or so.
How about the first in the series?
First in our segmented series.
You really did not put a lot of production thought into that, did you? About what you want?
Whatever. We're going to talk about a thing.
It's Kevin Smith month.
Kevin Smith's DC month.
Yes, but we're already halfway through January.
Whatever. It's 4 weeks of this. Get on board.
So it's maybe not like a month, but it's a series of Kevin Smith shows.
Sure. We're doing that. We're doing a thing. It's themed. Moving on. Theme song.
It's Jared's Reading Corner.
Did you get a special...
No, I didn't ask.
Oh, you're just using the Jared's Reading Corner?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I like that theme. It's probably my favorite one that we have.
It is not bad, yes.
I guess I think the way I pitched it was Reading Rainbow, but stupider.
Thanks, man. Can we get Exhibit to do it? Or DMX? It was DMX. Did I ever show you the DMX?
Yes, many times. Like every 3 months, you're like, if I showed you this video, yes, you have.
Well, I just want an excuse to watch it again, okay?
Anywho, this week we are doing Kevin Smith's first work for DC Comics, and I think his second mainstream work. He did Daredevil before this. Green Arrow, Quiver.
The colon is not part of it. It's not Green Arrow, Quiver.
There's always a colon involved.
Yeah, but the way you say it makes it sound like the Green Arrow's colon is quivering, and that's just not anything that nobody wants to read about that. Oliver Queen is having some problems, apparently, digestively.
Or excitedly.
Why? I've wasted 97 weeks of my life on this.
And basically, Kevin Smith, writer, director, longtime comic book fan, in the late 90s, early 2000s, and still kind of ish now, we'll see, has been a intermittent comic book writer, sometimes leaving a big stamp, sometimes, lesser stuff, but it doesn't always have to be like I'm leaving a big stamp. It's not really how comics work. But this was a return to form for Green Arrow. Previously in the late 80s, early 90s, who remembers at this point, Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow, was killed. Well, through self-sacrifice, but still killed.
Dead. D-E-D, dead.
Replaced by his son, Connor Hawke, who was, a relatively enjoyed character throughout the 90s. But then...
See, I was unaware that the Green Arrow was dead.
Yeah, well, he found out in this book.
Yeah, I know, right away.
All right, give a quick old summary, and then we'll do a reviewy thing. Let's try and make it 35 sentences or less. I don't know.
On the review?
I guess. I don't know.
All right, so...
I wanted to try and make it concise, so we could just talk about the book.
Yeah, so it can be concise and
it's
not
been out
ruin
for a
everything.
While.
Yeah.
I'm all for ruining everything, because this has been out since 1999.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, it starts with the Green Arrow, apparently dead, but not really. Actually, it's Batman and Superman, and then the sun is not there.
That's dealing with a different event. Superman has a mullet at this point. It's amazing.
And there's no sun.
There should always be a mullet on Superman.
There's no sun.
Yeah, it's gone temporarily.
That's not good.
It comes back.
Well, that's not good for anybody. Especially Superman, who feeds off of its yellow sun radiation.
And all those hippie solar cars.
Oh, that's not good.
I guess not in 90 whatever.
No, but the Green Lantern brings the Green Arrow back, and...
Green Lantern is also dead.
Yes.
And he's the Spectre.
Whatever. Anyway...
Hal Jordan, by the way.
Yeah, I know it was Hal Jordan because I read the damn book.
There's many Green Lanterns.
See, this is...
What if it was Kyle Rayner? What if it was Guy Gardner?
What if it was Ryan Reynolds?
Boo.
He was the Green Lantern once.
Yeah, and only once.
So no, you've got the Green Arrow coming back to Star City, coming back to life. Really shocking the hell out of a lot of people, FYI.
He looks like a aging...
Robin Hood?
I was going to say dumpster hippie.
That also possibly. Running the Star City Youth Facility.
Also, I would like to copyright that phrase.
Dumpster hippie?
Have you ever heard that? That's a hashtag copyright me.
Okay, dumpster hippie. That's all new. So we end up finding that the Green Arrow is kind of confused because everyone's really shocked to see him. He's like, well, no, I'm here. What's wrong with this? And he ends up hanging out with
an old man.
And then the Justice League.
Yeah, he's speaking exclusively in like 1970s slang.
Yeah.
Keeps saying like fat cat a lot, like he says it way too much.
Yep, fat cat. But no, he ends up, orbiting the planet Earth with Batman, Superman. Although Batman comes in from the shadows, a different Flash than he expected to have. Martian Manhunter.
Manhunter.
Damn it! I was right the first time.
You were.
Is it John
Jones?
John Jones.
The best Flash there is, Wally.
Wally West.
Who
yes.
the hell cares about Barry?
Oliver Queen did because he was very confused as to who this Flash was. Oh, we get a little Aquaman.
Wonder Woman makes out with him for a quick second. She's like, "You're back from the dead."
That's pretty much the exact noise that's in the. That's the exact onomatopoeia in the book.
Oh, you want to talk about onomatopoeia? Wait till next week.
Oh, wow.
It's literally the name of a villain.
Oh, that's not a bad villain name.
No, I like it.
So, long story short, the Green Arrow is alive, but he's not, because his soul is still in heaven. And he's like, I really like being dead, actually, because it's quite nice up here. I'm not, like, having to hide who I am. I'm not in the middle of having evil people try to kill me. I get to sleep in.
Hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
I don't age. I'm just, happily
I'm an
dead.
ethereal spirit. And people on Earth are like, oh, yeah, but you have a son. He's like, what? And there's some hellspawn demons that try and, really screw stuff up.
The quick gist is Oliver Queen is dead. 100% dead. But Hal Jordan, the Spectre, likes to play God. He does this a lot when he's the Spectre, and it's kind of annoying. And he basically brings back the body of Oliver Queen with memories of a younger self, like from the hard-traveling hero days when him and Hal were going across the country and that.
Leading up to right before he dies. He has no memories of after he's dead. Which makes sense.
Well, not right before he dies, but it's like going right before Longbow Hunters, which is kind of like the seminal Green Arrow work, where he kills a guy and then he cheats on his girlfriend, Black Canary. It's this whole big thing.
Yeah, but he killed a rapist.
Longbow Hunters is great. Read Longbow Hunters also, side note. But yeah, this is a pure Green Arrow who's basically from the 70s and is shocked when he sees the future year of 1999.
Oh, kicking it old school in 1999.
Yeah.
Also losing at kickball very badly to the kids at the Star City Youth Facility.
We also get introduced to a new character who is relatively important to the Green Arrow mythos. Mia Farrow. She is a child prostitute.
Who become, Speedy?
She becomes Speedy. Sidekick to Green Arrow, but not yet. She just wants to become Speedy. Kevin Smith is a little bit weird with women in comics, and we're not going to deal with most of the rest of them in this. But, we open here with, child prostitute. He's also done an AIDS-positive woman that gets killed, and another well-established comic book character who gets raped in her college years. And he keeps on going to these weird, dark places with all of his female characters. And it's just this weird, repetitive thing, and it's kind of uncomfortable when you keep looking at it. So stop it, I guess. Stop making everyone some weird sexual abuse victim, is what I have to say.
Are you saying there's other way to make feminine characters vulnerable?
Yeah, than raping them. Stop raping them.
Okay. That was some heavy-handed commentary from Zach. Thank you.
That's weird, right? It's not a one-time thing. He just keeps doing it.
I haven't read a lot. This is the first time I've ever read any Kevin Smith comic book stuff, so I don't know.
If you just read it one at a time, it's fine. But if you've read his stuff as a whole, you're like, what are you doing?
I love Kevin Smith, by the way.
Oliver Queen basically comes to the realization that something's wrong. He calls for his buddy Hal Jordan / the Spectre / Green Lantern and goes and visits himself in heaven.
Well, that's exciting.
Which
was also I was like, what is going on?
His soul is like, I'm not coming back. Go, enjoy yourself and I guess die. You're not going to heaven or hell because you literally have no soul. Don't worry about it. I'm here.
Except for that, your soul is void. The void of your soul can be filled by a demon.
There is that. So the old man that was housing him knows that he has no soul and wants to, put his soul inside of Oliver Queen so he can become kind of a rapist. he was all into sex rituals and orgies and demonic possessions with his wife in the 70s. Then she left him because, do that.
Yeah.
When your husband's all about that.
Perhaps. No, not perhaps. Definitely, yes.
And then it turns out Oliver Queen's son is a monk, and he senses that his dad is in trouble, even though he's been dead all this time. And he runs back to Star City, saves his dad, saves Mia, and everyone's happy. And we have a nice Casablanca moment of Oliver Queen going, I bet this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yes, but you forgot the part where the demon eats the old guy.
And the demon eats the old guy. The old guy who...
And Oliver Queen's like, Connor's like, should we help him? What, give him some salt?
Yes. The old guy who was pretending to be gay to try and gain the trust of hyper-liberal Oliver Queen, because he thought that would be the way to do it, which I do think is, side note, kind of funny.
Yes, also the fact that Mia was cooking breakfast one morning, and that's when he revealed himself to be homosexual.
Yeah. Well, I do like that he's with Oliver. When I say it's a little bit funny, because we're going to get this in this arc and also in the next one, where it reads is a little bit dated, because, the guy's like, oh, I'm gay. And Oliver Queen goes like, oh, I thought I was the only queen around here.
That's clever. That's clever.
It's a little dated.
But clever nonetheless. Stop judging it.
As a whole, what we have here is we have early comic work. And in general, I think Kevin Smith's comic work is best at his earliest phases. That's not entirely true. He's done some good, and he's done some... I don't want to go as far as bad. He's done some good to some eyebrow raising, I guess, would be the best approximation I could put it at. I like the story as a whole. It's 10 issues. They do a deep dive into DC history. How did this read for you as someone who doesn't know necessarily that DC history?
I got lost and confused at some points, but I think having been on the show now for over almost 100 episodes, I knew people like Martian Manhunter and the Justice League, and I knew that there were multiple Flashes, but there was also, and I knew multiple Green Arrows and whatnot, but it was also there's some really deep cut stuff here. I mean, you got some Batman in there, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know how new reader friendly this is. Oh, I didn't even talk about my favorite scene. Batman finds Green Arrow. He's like, we gotta get to the bottom of this. And Green Arrow being 1970s Green Arrow, he's like, do we have the Arrow card? Do we need to go to the Arrow cave? And Batman's just like, did you have any original thoughts back in the day? Which I do love. That's my favorite scene in this book, because Green Arrow was very much Batman light for a very long time before he kind of found that, or the kind of writers did, finding that, hyper-liberal angle on him. He was very much just Batman, but not as interesting.
I did like when Batman, first comes in, when they're all in, the orbiting space station.
I love it when the Justice League has their headquarters in space.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Anytime that there's space or dinosaurs, you're in.
I am.
But I like how, Batman comes out of the shadows and, has this clever line, and that Wally's like, I bet he was just sitting back there waiting and thinking of what to say. And he's like, and Batman's like, nope, actually came out that one right off the top of my tongue.
I love that. He's like, you got that on the fly, Wally. You ain't that clever, Flash. For a while, and it's funny because, when I kind of started getting more heavily into comics other than just reading one or two titles, for a long time I would say I would point to this as this is a good entry point for Green Arrow, this is what you should read. But it's weird now because just rereading it for the show, I'm like, it feels dated now, even to the character. So I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it as an entry point. And for 10 years, I would say this is your entry point. But now it's been, almost 20 years at this point. I don't think it's an entry point necessarily anymore. I still like it, just to be clear.
I think...
But times have changed. The character has changed.
I think that's an unfair way to kind of gauge it, because it has been almost 20 years since this book came out. So there's going to be that natural and evolution of the character. I mean, think about, how much of something like The Simpsons changed over the last 20 years.
I still say watch it. I'm one of the 5, but I say watch it.
No, I'm not saying don't watch it, but has it not changed?
Yeah, I know, it totally has. And I still think this is good, especially if you like Kevin Smith's work, or even if you like this character. Because, to be honest, this is the arc that got me interested in this character. I didn't really care about Green Arrow before this, and I've certainly cared about him after this. It has been a little while since I've cared about the character. Oh, let's say 8 years since I've cared, unfortunately.
That's about anything, really, not just the comic books or
I
characters.
just stopped caring. I stopped
you
caring
don't-
about things about 2010.
Yeah, you don't really care about anything. You are such a soulless vacuum of a human.
I'm kind of like Green Arrow in this. I have no soul. I can be possessed by a demon.
I think you have been sometimes when you come down here and rip ass on the show.
I cut all that. No one knows.
You cut it all right. See, right now, you leaned at me, crossed your arms, and matter-of-factly tooted at me. Which, one of the lines in there I love was, if you tug on my other leg, I toot something. That's like a song. It was actually quite funny. I thought it was hilarious. Kevin Smith finding ways to work fart jokes into Green Arrow books.
I feel like I'm being a little harsh on it, but I actually do really enjoy this book, and I actually really liked revisiting it. And even for me, especially like kind of at this point at reading comics, is, it has been a long time since this came out, and I really enjoyed going back and being reminded of this kind of moment in time, which goes for a lot of, like, whenever you revisit a thing, like, even if you revisit a thing that came out like 2 years ago, you'll be like, oh yeah, things have changed since then, and it kind of reminds you of this like certain bubble of what storytelling was like at that certain point. And I enjoy that. I enjoy going back.
The thing I really liked about the story here, though, is like there's some familiar pings to it, and it is definitely always that story that asks that great question: what do you do if you have everything you want? And especially for a superhero who's lived a life of sacrifice, and now he's able to kind of reap the rewards in a way to say, because he's dead and he's in heaven, and he's presented with the chance of, do I stay in paradise or do I go back to Earth and go back to being, alive with my soul on Earth to make things right with my son? Like, that's an interesting, I think, quandary that sometimes superheroes, sometimes you see them kind of like the superheroes lament. Man, I'm in this lifestyle and I can't change it. I am who I am, but man, I wonder what it would be like to not have to be a superhero anymore. And he kind of goes through that catharsis, and he kind of goes through that evolution of like, no, you know what? The universe owes me. I don't owe anybody anything anymore. I gave my life up for
Sacrificial.
this. Yeah.
He was a lamb to slaughter.
Yeah, and he's like, you know what? I'm fine with this, because you know what? I did my part. I sacrificed everything, and here I am. So, I don't know.
As a whole, for what we're going to be doing for this kind of series, I think this is going to be the strongest work that we do. I'm going to say highly recommend Quiver. Kind of put an asterisk on it, and remember, like, also this came out in 1999, because it does feel like it came out in 1999.
Well,
which isn't you can't really fault it for that.
No, I mean, what are you going to say? Like, oh, shame on you, book, for not having time-traveling properties.
Yeah.
No, I like the art. I thought the art was cool.
We didn't really mention that. Yeah, Phil Hester. Phil Hester is one of my favorite artists. He's been in the business for a long-ass time. He still is. He's great. Phil Hester is great. He doesn't really have anyone else that is close to his stylistic essence of work. Like, you see a Phil Hester page, you're looking at a Phil Hester page. And his style has certainly evolved over time, but it's been a very naturalistic progression, and I love seeing his stuff in 1999. I love seeing his stuff now. Phil Hester is one of the best artists working within the past 30 years, hands down. I love his stuff.
I like the art. I like the depictions of like heaven. I liked just like he's in heaven. He's at a freaking archery range.
It's so funny, like, looking at, it's a very brief thing, but you kind of have to ignore it for DC continuity at the time, which doesn't matter anymore. But, like, we see Jason Todd dead in heaven, but then we know, depending on what iteration you want to look at, that Jason Todd came back and probably was never in heaven. There are two reads on that. Number one, Superboy Prime punched reality so hard he came back to life. Or number two, they dumped his dead body in a Lazarus pit and he was resurrected. They're both weird. What am I going to do with those? But we do see Jason Todd briefly. And this is only, 6 years before they resurrected him.
I think what's cool about this is, where...
You really did not react to that. Someone punched reality so hard, someone came back to life.
Because we've talked about it before.
Maybe we should do it. I haven't read Infinite Crisis since it came out. Maybe we should do Infinite Crisis one day, because that's if memory serves, it has been a very long time since I've read it. That is a weird-ass story.
I think what works for this really well is, like, that Kevin Smith is a comics fan, and that it's like that if you were given an opportunity yourself to write an arc, you being a comic book fan, like, how would you treat the story? How would you treat the characters? Because you're the caretaker of all those characters, that what you write becomes part of that universe. He didn't get to just write Green Arrow. He got to write for Batman. He got to write for Superman. He got to write for iconic characters.
That's some of the problem I have with it, and some of the problem I see of once you get, and I don't want to name names here just because I don't want to be kind of crappy, is you see people who get kind of new into the business and they get to do a character and they love to reference things from the past. And as a guy who knows those references, I'm like, yeah, cool, I've seen that. What do you have to offer? And we kind of get that here to a point of like, hey, remember this? Like, yeah, no, I do. What do you got?
That's fair. I think it's always neat to see when a huge fan, gets to come in and write the characters in kind of the way they want and pay homage to some of the stuff that they've always liked or appreciated. I think that's kind of cool.
But yeah, I guess that's Quiver in a nutshell. It's 10 issues. They're a solid 10 issues. I still enjoy them to this day, and like they're kind of dated, but not bad by any stretch.
But if that's your only real condemnation of it,
that is kind of it, yeah. Like, if I had to, like...
And I feel like it's real nitpicky. It's 2008, so you're going to judge a book that's almost 20 years old for being dated?
It's 2018. Side note, you're a decade off.
Whatever. So...
You were in college in 2008.
So 20 years, okay? You're going to judge a book for being 20 years old.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
That's like saying, like, Crime and Punishment, or Count of Monte Cristo, or Three Musketeers, or the Robin Hood stories are dated.
I mean, they are.
Exactly. You know why? Because you're dated.
Oh, no. I'm an old man now.
You are. You're just about 30.
Yeah, it's fine.
So, yeah, I don't think that's a fair condemnation that it's dated. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it.
I really do. And I think for what we're going to be doing for the next 4 weeks, I think this is probably the best stuff we're going to be doing. I recommend picking it up, reading it. Check it out. It's still a good time. And it's kind of fun seeing 1970s versus late 90s storytelling.
And you can get it in trade back form.
Yeah, you can. People still hunt the story out pretty hard. So find it how you can. I think my copy I picked up like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, it's a dated copy.
It is a dated copy. The one we were reading out of. The one that I have, yes. I bought this a while ago.
I can't believe you. You are impossible sometimes.
Yeah, buy the book. I guess from there we'll go on to letters to the editors.
Lot of questions, number one. Damn few answers.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
Make it so.
Are these letters dated too?
I am going to make a very old reference in this, so yes.
Oh, okay.
An incredibly old reference. I'm going back to the 40s for this one.
Oh, that's obviously dated.
Yes, the 40s are dated. The 1940s, not Blade Runner 2048, which should get more love than it does.
Okay, well, anyway.
How does Batman have a secret lair without construction workers figuring it out?
That's a great question. That's a question that I think everybody always asks.
May I give you some history?
Do you have a real answer to this?
Oh, there is a real answer, kind of. Well, the real answer is there are multiple answers. But can I at least give you a history of the Batcave before you give an answer?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
The Batcave was first originated in the first Batman. I think that was the first. There were two Batman serials, as we've talked about on the show before, like serials being
and Detective Comics.
No, like the movie serials.
Oh, okay.
Like serials being something like 10, 15 minutes. You would see it before a movie. You'd have to go consistently, maybe 10, 15 weeks to a theater to see the entire serial series. Kind of what Star Wars is based off of, stuff like that.
It's like Buck Rogers.
Yeah, Batman had two of them. They both suck. Never watch them. They are terrible and boring.
Okay.
We're probably going to watch them for the show eventually because they are terrible and boring.
Okay, good.
But maybe not for they're really just, they're not fun bad. They're just really dull.
Okay, got you.
In the first one, I think it was episode 2, it was called The Bat's Cave. Not The Bat Cave, The Bat's Cave.
Yeah, it belongs to the Bat. Yeah, it belongs to the Batman.
We see Fat Batman with his felt cowl.
Wait, is this the Batman that you said died of cardiac arrest or something?
No, that was Captain America.
Oh, okay.
We saw him. This Batman probably should have.
Oh, the Captain America with a gun. I remember him now.
Yes. District Attorney, whatever his name was, I don't remember now.
Yeah. Dick Stuffington or something, I don't know.
Yeah. We see, Batman is just sitting at, a mahogany desk with a rotary phone and just some like bats on strings behind him. And that is our origin of the Batcave.
I gotta look this up.
Just look up the Bat's Cave,
I
guess.
I am. We're gonna find out right here in a moment.
So glad you have to look up a still of this.
The Bat's Cave. I put the apostrophe in there, I think. Because I got the Bat Cave in Indianapolis, Indiana, and batting cages. Not really what I'm looking for.
No.
I don't need to work on that swing. Images. Oh, wow. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, just Batman behind a desk.
That's a nice desk.
That's why I said mahogany.
He's got a couple of other, wow. Meanwhile, Robin, giant R on his.
Is that Afro Robin?
Wow.
Like, there were 2 Batman serials. They both suck. Don't watch them.
Oh, okay. Good to know. All right. So, going on.
Anywho, that's kind of the origin of the Batcave. And in the 40s, no one really cared.
Apparently not.
About the logistics of it. It wasn't part of the comics, but that it get integrated in after this. So, there are multiple answers. I'm going to kind of go with the one that sticks the most with me. How do you think the Batcave works without, like, people working around Wade Manor knowing about it?
Bruce Wayne has got tons of money. He could pay anybody off.
That's it? That's your whole explanation?
Yeah, why not?
There are multiple explanations. I am going to go with what works best for me.
Okay.
We've had some explanations of, like, Bruce Wayne just going, I didn't know this existed underneath our house. The most consistent one is Wayne Manor being, like, old money. It's not new. It's not like they just came into this. Like, this is a generational home of, like, old, rich, aristocratic white people.
Yeah.
One of the things that they did, and especially in the older days, like, Gotham was generally considered to be in kind of North Jersey or New York. You know, roll that as you will. It's not necessarily true now. But that the cave underneath Wayne Manor was part of the Underground Railroad.
Mm-hmm.
They helped slaves escape, and that it was kind of built out from there. But one of the other explanations has been kind of, I don't know if you've heard of Devil in the White City. You've probably at least heard of the serial killer. Like, guy who built a murder mansion, who just hired a bunch of different contractors and fired a bunch of different contractors. So no one ever really knew what they were working on.
Yes.
Difference here being serial killer versus Batman, who is also kind of a serial killer. He has been.
He's killed.
He's killed many times. But yeah, multiple contractors, Underground Railroad, nobody knew, / Batman did it himself, are kind of the answers there. There are more iterations of it than that, but...
Good job, Batman.
Yeah, that's kind of where we stand.
Oh, I mean...
There's also been multiple locations for the Batcave. Either with his Batmobile repairman, he does it with a guy who is mute. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm just more curious as to where he gets, like, things like the Batmobile, the Bat plane, the Bat boat.
And, like, he has mechanics working for him.
Yeah.
Who literally don't have the ability to speak. And he's also kind of a technical genius himself, I guess.
Oompa Loompas.
Doopity-doo.
Yeah. Answer that riddle for you.
Goddamn Batman.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not a Frank Miller book.
Here's my answer. It's a comic book. Enjoy it for what it is.
There's also that, like, you know, suspension of disbelief. But, yeah, Batcave, I guess let's make it helpful to the American Civil War.
There. I like it.
You know, that's kind of the most consistent thing. It was always there. And it was at least done for, you know...
noble purposes.
Social justice purposes, if you will, bringing it back.
No. Okay, fine. Enough. Where can we find you? Let's plug.
EditorsNoteComics.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you want to find the show a day early, patreon.com/editorsnotecomics. I guess it's on YouTube, although YouTube just changed their payment policies, so that doesn't really matter anymore. Hopefully people will potentially find the show that way, but...
rate, review, subscribe.
Yeah, on iTunes still matters. YouTube is literally a dead end now.
Oh, it is. It's a well, no, it's not a dead end. It's a rabbit hole. I can get lost on YouTube for hours.
You can watch the show for hours, but it's still a dead end.
Yeah, about 90 some odd hours.
If you could try and watch 1,000 hours of this, just keep on doing it. Just keep on watching. Put it on a loop. It doesn't matter.
10 hours of the Editor's Note Comics podcast on repeat.
100 hours. There's 100 hours out there.
That's crazy.
just about. I really need to, much like Action Comics 1000, I need to make sure we deliver on our 100th episode.
That's on you. You're producing that.
Anywho, yeah, rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. You're on Twitter.
At Junior Rich.
You like to tweet during football games. Why do you follow Bill Cosby?
That was a long time ago.
You still follow him.
I didn't know. I forgot that I was even following him.
I clicked on it today because I saw a thing about Bill Cosby. It's like, it has 2 followers. You know, I'm like, who follows him? I'm like, one of 2, Jared. I'm like, why?
Oh, well, that's easy. I'm going to
unfollow
him
yes,
right now.
unfollow Bill Cosby.
I was unaware that I was still following. I forgot that I even followed him in the first place. I was probably shocked that he had a Twitter.
Stop following him. Side note, I meant to call you out on that, not on the podcast.
Well, you can edit it out of the podcast.
I won't.
Okay, see, unfollowed. Yeah, I'm going to stop following him.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Come back next week for more Kevin Smith's DC-averse.
Yeah!
So glad you joined the conversation. Yeah, that'll be about it. See you next week.
What do you want me to add? There's nothing else to add.
Just say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Good night. Enjoy yourselves.
Remember who you are and what you stand for.
Don't be bad, I guess.